This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize. Okay, I'm delighted to be joining one of Ireland's newest professional boxers, Cian Duggan. How are you?
Hello, Steve. How are you, man? I'm all good.
Um,
All good.
I'm I'm sure we're sort of going to go back in time, but obviously just before we do, obviously you're in the crest of the wave. Like probably about this time last month, you're waiting to make your professional debut. You're now 2-0 with two stoppages. Like you probably sort of pinching yourself and going, how
Yeah.
quickly things can happen.
Yeah, I was supposed to make me debut originally on the 16th of August in Boston, but that fell through. I don't know. I can't remember why. So I got put back to the 6th of September. So by the time I got to America, which was like the 10th of July, I was waiting like nearly 2 months to make me pro debut. So yeah, I was rearing to go, and then two stoppages in 2 weeks wasn't bad.
You definitely couldn't. You probably couldn't ask for better. You probably, I guess,
It was worth the
sometimes,
wait, basically. Yeah.
yeah, it's one of them. I guess it's like I keep reverting back to it's Christmas. You get kid at Christmas, like that build up to making your debut. Going, let's just get in there. Let's just get it done. The longer it took them with you having a postponed debut, and then you're going, you hear the stories in boxing, you go, oh, that's one date. Then the next date comes, and you go, is this really going to happen? So
Yeah,
that's
you never
probably
know until the weigh-in.
probably the relief sometimes of
Yeah.
actually making weight and going, now I'm actually going to fight.
Yeah, I had to move up to 147 for that fight, just to get a fight off someone around there. And then I ended up getting the fight back at 140 in my own weight to be clear, so it was perfect.
So talk to me, obviously, Kate. Obviously, you're 23 now. What age did you start boxing and why?
Started boxing at 11, and it's a bit of a mad story. I was playing soccer, and my dad just randomly came to training one day and said, "You're going to the boxing club," because me auntie's fiance at the time opened the boxing club up in Cabra. So he just goes, "You're gonna go down." I tried every sport when I was a kid, every single sport, and I was okay at most of them, but I wasn't great at boxing, and I don't know. It's probably a good thing I wasn't good, because then I ended up wanting to be great at it. So yeah, I just fell in love with boxing when I was about 11.
Was it just a particular reason that obviously from what you were saying there, your dad was it because we know that in some areas obviously, well, particularly mostly in life now, parents want kids to be able to defend themselves.
Yeah,
And probably growing up in Dublin as well, probably we know in any probably town and city anywhere in the world it can be they can be bullying obviously nowadays as well. Like obviously, we know we're in
yeah.
this new age of sort of growing up, but people could take a hand of you very easily. Like was that maybe one of the reasons as well, being able to defend yourself rather than
Yeah, I wouldn't call it bullying, but it'd say like if somebody picked on you, well, like I wouldn't have been able to do anything about it, and I hated that. I hate that I couldn't like. I hate I couldn't get them to be like just stay away from because he will fight you back. So yeah, when I joined boxing, I gained a little bit of respect, especially like the likes of school and stuff like that. But it was grand. I was never bullied. It was always just in my own head.
yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? That if somebody somebody in your school and they're trying to mess about with someone and they go, don't be messing about with him because he's a boxer, and then they go, oh, there you are, there he is, there's Mike
Yeah,
Tyson. Like they think then you're the
started licking
world's
their arse.
best then because they just hear boxer.
Yeah, they started licking the arse of you.
How did you find then, like at the age of 11, like, I hear of ones nowadays, and I interviewed somebody last week that started at the age of 3, but couldn't compete to 11. Like, did you find then at 11 you were playing catch up?
For the first 2 or 3 years, maybe, but then when I grew up a bit older, I was like, I'm probably glad I didn't box since I was 7 because I probably would end up with brain damage already. So I think personally, I started at a great age instead of being born in the gym and then going up and getting the head bit off you for years, and then by the time you're fucking 15, you can really speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So then when you took up boxing at 11, did you stop playing soccer and things like that? Like, was that then just your sole focus, or did you carry on with other sports at the same time?
It wasn't for a while. I played soccer and gated football until I was about 14. So I played three sports at once. Then I kind of realized I wasn't getting good at any of them. Wasn't getting better at any of them because I was always tired because I was always training every single day. So I got to a Dublin Leagues final. I was like 14, I think, 13 or 14 before some. Then I got to a Dublin final the year after that. And then as soon as I got to the Dublin final and lost, I said, "Fuck, just gonna pack everything else in and just go boxing." Then a year later, I made my first national final.
How did you find the early days, like being a teenager and losing, like whenever you have that passion for something, that that first sort of taste of defeat, how did you take it? Like, were you a bad loser? Like, was it at that stage then you went, right, you were trying to work out why it happened and going, I'm playing too much sports, I'm too tired, and just focus on one? Like, was that them you were going, right, foot boxing has to be my sole focus?
Yeah, I was just very, very bad loser as a kid. Still am a little bit to this day, to be honest with you. I'm a born winner, so that's something I hate losing.
But that's a good thing as well. Like, you don't want to lose. Like, and I know we say in life nowadays, it's only a loss if you don't learn from it, But
Yeah,
but even that when you suffer defeat and then you're going, right, it's not happening again, or I'm going to keep learning from it each time. Like, it probably makes it easier nowadays. I guess you've had a defeat, in a ring, so you're going, I know what it feels like. I know what to do so it doesn't happen again.
that's it. I really do think it won't happen ever again in the pro game.
So you're
Because the
going,
amateurs, because the amateurs like just a medal and a certificate. It's like what did what does it actually do for you unless you're on the Irish team or Olympic squad or something like that. But as a professional, it's your job now.
so you're going to
This
do
how
Floyd Mayweather and go undefeated.
hopefully, but it's like that's how you're gonna feed your family. So it's kind of like it's either me or you. So yeah, it's definitely not gonna be me.
So you
It's
said
gonna
then
be,
from packing in soccer and Gaelic then at 13, did you say you got to the final or you won the Irish final the year
never
after?
won an Irish title. Never won an Irish title. First one was was youth one. I was 15, and I fought actually a really good friend of mine. We're from the same area in Dublin, so I was a bit mad because we were like best mates. We played for the same soccer team and all the 2 years before it, and then whatever happened, and then COVID struck, and it kept
Yeah.
everyone out for three. It kept me out for 3 years. I ended up going up to 93, 94 kilo. I think my heaviest was. It was crazy. I stopped boxing like 6 months. It was crazy, and then the year later, I just wanted to lose all the weight, lost all the weight, and then got to an under 22s final then.
Like, I guess COVID was tough for everybody in every way,
Uh,
but like what you were saying, where you weren't able to go and train, and boxing was your passion and things like that, and they put out on that lot of weight, you then probably used boxing in a way to go, well, let's come back to something to enjoy, let's lose the weight, and you probably fell in love with it again then.
yeah, I did. I definitely fell out of love with boxing during COVID because it wasn't happening for anybody. There's only so many 5K runs you can do until you're like, oh, fuck's sake, I want to get lean back in the ring. What's the point in this? It was 2 years that nobody boxed, and then it was another year for me outside the ring because obviously I gained a lot of weight. You give me,
How I guess that time period as well, not being able to box and wanting to box. Like, did you think at a stage that you might never box again? After that, like I guess with that uncertainty, and particularly with an amateur boxing, because there was still the safe distancing and things like. I remember going to professional shows, and you had to be safe distance and things like that. It was a weird
yeah,
time. Like, did you think
Eddie
that?
Hearn's backyard and all that.
Did you think at a time you would never box again? Obviously, through that, because you might just fall in love with it completely.
No, I always knew I would. There was people around me that didn't think I would, but I knew I would. So yeah, it just took a little bit of time to get back into shape, and then I was ready to go again.
How tough
It was
was it,
still
obviously,
only
after putting on that weight, come back in the gym? Like, obviously, it wasn't easy for you coming back in because, where you were used to being fast, you probably slowed down and put on a bit of weight
yeah.
and stuff as well.
But it was great because when I did start losing the weight and I started to sharpen up, I was like, right, this is brilliant, and then I just kept going, kept going, kept going. So yeah, and in fairness, I was only young as well. I was only 19, so it wasn't as if I was 28, 29 in my prime having to lose fucking 50 odd pounds.
Mm.
So I remember like Paddy Pimblett it was.
After his fight,
Yeah,
he
exactly.
piled on the burgers. Um, like that weight loss in itself was obviously a major achievement, particularly obviously of what you've been through in a couple of years. Like, that probably must have made you even more proud of what you'd done. Like, you could nearly sort of open up your own gym and go, I've lost 50 pounds. You could sort of,
Yeah,
that could be inspiring to a lot of people as well to go, look where you blew up to and look where you've come back down to. So you can take a lot of pride of knowing that with the passion you have of boxing, being able to lose the weight to get back into it again, it obviously must
yeah.
fill you with a lot of confidence.
It's definitely a mental battle. It's definitely a mental victory when you do. obviously lose. Now it takes a while. There is times where you're like, why am I even doing this, for fuck's sake? Just have that takeaway down the road there. And it's like, yeah, just mental victories all the time. So that's why it just makes me mentally stronger.
I guess it probably gets you to understand your body and stuff as well. Like you'll know between
Yeah,
fights and
exactly.
stuff now as a professional, you go, well, I'm not blowing up in weight because I don't want to be having to spend weeks losing weight when I can do the technical stuff instead.
Like the only way like 145, 146 pounds now at the minute. Still in good shape. I'll get down to 140 in the space of 2 days. I really had to.
Is
That
is like
was
what is like 140 your sort of cap, or could you go lower as a pro? Like if you're walking around it, but 145, 146, does 140 seem like you would probably want to grow into the weight as well?
yeah, that's what me and my coach Jay Kelly were talking about as well. He reckons I can make 135, but I'm thinking as I get a bit older, I'm gonna probably grow into 140 a bit more. So
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. We're
it's
not rushing anything anyway, so we're staying at 140 until we get to a certain level, if that makes any sense.
definitely it's one of them. Sometimes you just have to sort of have to make wee adjustments as you sort of move. Like I was saying to somebody as well, like years ago, people wouldn't have thought of the diet and the S&C. There's so much involved now in professional boxing that you have to tick all the wee boxes. You maybe make a
Yeah,
mistake
exactly.
and making a weight cut and things like that and going, I'm not doing that again. But you have to learn these things to go through them.
Yeah, they all affect you in the ring. Every single little detail. It's mad how much it can affect you, especially like your diet.
It's
You
crazy.
know what
Like
I'm saying?
you think of the old days that people ate chippies 7 days a week and
Oh
stuff and
man,
then
having
boxed.
points
Like,
in them part of fight. Crazy, like.
who would you have said, growing up, obviously, what your 12 years sort of boxing,
Yeah,
not
long
obviously
time.
including boxing, so half your life, like who would you had as your idols, sort of, who when you were in the gym shadow boxing, who would you mimic yourself being?
When I was a young fella, when I was like, it was a bit, it was, no, I was a bit past his prime by the time we started, but Manny Pacquiao was obviously the man around that time, especially as a southpaw. I always watch southpaws. Not that I never watched orthodox fighters as well, but because I'm southpaw, it's like we're the same kind of thing. Do you get me?
Yeah,
Then as I grow older, and then Lomachenko went pro, that's when I was like, right, this fella's the one. Do you get me?
definitely it's two fantastic, boxers like Manny
It's
Pacquiao.
completely different styles, though. It's crazy.
It's crazy to think, even particularly with Manny. Like, obviously, I know he came back there in a draw. After more than 4 years out of the ring, like he started off as,
But it's still
I think
cool.
his career at light fly or something like that, and finished at welterweight. Like he fairly went up the weight classes.
105 or something, wasn't he?
It's
It's crazy how he done that. He went from that to 154. So I don't know how he didn't. I couldn't imagine that.
it's
But
it's
like me, that'd be like me going to light heavyweight. Boys would eat me alive.
it's mentally thinking like what he's boxed most of his life and stuff as well. Like to go from that small, nearly the weight classes sometimes people forget about away down at flyweight and light fly and things like that. They go
Oh,
on the way up.
yeah, they don't care about them.
So they don't. Would you had like any local inspiration? Like obviously we've had quite a lot of success, quite a lot of world champions and the pros. Like, would you had any idols in Irish boxing when you were growing up?
Um, no, not really, to be honest. Not until I got to a bit older. No, not really.
Sometimes it's you just find probably I guess it's you probably sometimes look at the most famous sort of people and people like
Yeah,
Manny
like Conor
Pacquiao.
McGregor would have been around the time I was growing up, so he's definitely an inspiration to me. But as for boxing wise, no, there's not, there wasn't many in Ireland from when I was growing up until the last few years.
Did that make things harder or make it easier? 'Cause sometimes when you've someone that's close to you, if it's somebody in Dublin or if it's
Yeah,
somebody in Belfast, it then makes it easier for you to go, well, I can achieve that as well, rather than sometimes an unrealistic thing to go, I'm going to be Manny Pacquiao, I'm going to be an eight-weight world champion.
it's a completely different world here. He's from the Philippines and I'm from Bleeding Fingers in Dublin, like. But no, definitely Conor McGregor definitely was the man who was like, right, if he can do it and he's from Crumlin, I can definitely do it.
Yeah. It,
Obviously
make,
different sports, but they're both fighting sports, you know what I'm saying?
it makes your dreams more of a reality when you know that someone else close to you has done it. Like, they always
Yeah.
say success breeds success, people you train with, people that's around the area, then it becomes more more visual sort of, and you can go, well, this can actually happen because somebody else has done it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Exactly. He literally lives 20 minutes down the road from me, where he was from. So I was like, that's crazy. He literally grew up the same way I have.
Looking obviously through what I can see, how many fights have you had, Cian, obviously as an amateur? Obviously on box reg it says you've had eight,
Yeah,
but
Fox Trek is all over the place. I've had
mo-
about 35 to 40 amateur fights. And
the
that's just in competitions. Like I had a way more like club shows and stuff like that. So
in some ways it might help because if potential opponents are sort of looking at it, you're going,
yeah,
you only boxed 8 times as an amateur, and you're going, no, 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 I've boxed a lot more.
no, I've boxed a lot more than that. I have a lot more experience than it actually looks like I have. Because box like wasn't with amateurs for a while. I only started recently, then like 1 or 2 years ago maybe.
I
Started
think you
updating.
I think you have to send them your like your amateur card for them to sort of update it because it
I
obviously a
don't even
lot
have my original amateur card, so I don't even. I'm a novice if anybody asks you.
I will say nothing. But obviously of the fights that I can see, you've obviously you fought Irish pros. Obviously from what I can see, obviously Conor Trainer, obviously it's based out in Canada, and
Yeah.
obviously Gareth Dowling as well. Like, did you always, when these guys were turning over, did you always look at them and go, I'm going to have a keen interest and see how they get on for whenever it comes to your time?
No. No, well, McCown was a weird one because I boxed him when we were kids and then didn't hear from him for ages. And then he was over in Canada. I was like, oh no, fair play to him. Because he was actually a really, really nice fella. Whatever in the ring, that's all. In front of it, look, they were only kids. But then when I seen him doing Canada, I was like, you know what? Fair play to him. 'Cause I love when people go abroad, even let's say, or go after their dreams somewhere and then achieved them, you can say. I don't know if he's achieved. I don't know what he's done yet. I haven't really followed his career, but fair play to him.
It is, as you say, when someone goes outside of their comfort zone, away from their
Yes, that's
home
exactly what I'm
place,
going to say. Sorry.
and do these things, like, that they're serious about it, rather than going, I'm just going to stay from where I'm from, but I'm going to do this. Sometimes it's hard because you're not brought in your own experience and your horizons. You can do so
Mm.
much as an amateur, but you then need to follow it up in some ways as a pro and gain that experience of sparring different people in different countries and different temperatures as well.
Yeah, like when I was growing up, we used to watch the pros and they'd be away from their families and they'd be talking about. I'm like, why are they doing that to themselves? Only when I turned pro myself, and when I done it, when I went to America, I was like, now I realise why. Because your family are great, whatever, but it's like they don't understand what you need to do day in day out. Now my family are great with it because I've done it for so long. They understand everything. But I can see now if you have kids and you have a wife and stuff like that, you have to kind of get out of that comfort zone.
Is there any history in the family of boxing, or are you the first to sort of carry the flag moving forward?
No, well, you say the first, we're doing it at the same time. My cousin Bobby Flood, 10-time Irish champion, amateur European champion as well.
So the two
So,
are flying the flag then. Like, does
yeah.
your dad keep reminding you, obviously, of this fact that, like, he's the one that took you to the boxing gym? Is he the one that sort of laying down for a house first when you make it?
No, no, he doesn't. My man's getting the house first. Don't mind me that.
He can have a wee shed out the back.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be fucking in with the dog.
Or what do they call it? They call them man caves now, don't they? Not
Yeah,
sheds.
exactly. He'd love one of them.
Well,
You'd never hear
definitely.
from him again if you had one of them. You end up
um,
walking out 4 years later with hair down to his bleeding ankles.
talking obviously, Kate, obviously about how obviously it came about that you were going pro. Like, at what stage in life did professional boxing, you know, become a goal for you? Like, was there a stage where, like, maybe when you come back, they obviously after COVID, you were going, I'm going to go pro. When did the pro thing come into your head?
It all kind of happened just naturally because this is my third summer in a row in Boston, you could say. Because the first time we went over with me old amateur club, and we were there for the week, whatever, I loved the place. And then I fought New England champion, which kind of like a Leinster or an Ulster champion over here, you can kind of say. It's like a province. And then, yeah, when I beat him, the coach that was on the other team, it was weird because like they were looking after us, but they were also on the other team. It was a bit mad, like, but they were sound. And he said to me that out of everyone in the club, I had the best style suited to professional boxing. And I said, oh, no way, I'll definitely think about it. Stayed amateur for another year and then went over for a summer training camp in 2024. It's not this summer, the one before it. And then I met my manager, Danny, and then I met my coach, Jay. And then, yeah, just called came from there. But
It's weird
unfortunately,
that
I broke my elbow last year.
you broke your elbow.
Yeah, I broke my elbow. I fell off a ladder. I was literally getting him to do something and fell off straight onto the elbow.
Like
Yeah,
like
came back 6 months.
when people get inside your head sometimes and they tell you, oh, you have a style that's good for professional boxing, like that can mess with your mind and you're going, am I good? Or are they just saying that to be
Yeah,
nice
why
to
am I
me?
boxing amateur if people are telling me that? Like,
It's
yeah,
working up sometimes. Like, how are you finding, I guess the switch over, like you hear so many times, like amateur boxing, professional boxing are completely different sports, but how are you finding that transition across so far?
I love it. I always struggled in the amateur, Steve, to be honest with you. It was like first round flies by and they're only getting warmed up for me. And then by the time you do get going, it's like you have to rush everything then because you're already around down.
Was it that you always like to use the first round to work somebody out, or because
Yeah, kind of, especially if you never sparred them or if you never fought them, which is typical in Ireland, you could say, or common, because there's so much sparring in Dublin that you don't really have to go outside Dublin to get good sparring. For
yeah,
us anyway, but a lot of people come down to Dublin or else go to Belfast or something like that. But never really with me. I always kind of just stayed in Dublin and get me sparring, but there'd be a lot of people coming down to our club, like, you get me?
yeah. So, like where you were saying you've been a slow starter as an amateur, then like, are you still sort of gauging the first round as a pro and sort of seeing how you are with an opponent? Because like it is completely different. Where you would have boxed somebody as an amateur, some of these opponents maybe aren't coming in the same way. They're sort of more on the back foot. Like, are you?
Yeah.
How are you finding that? Where you're sort of walking forward and going, where are you? You're having to get a map nearly out to look for them sometimes. Like, is that helping the adjustment period for you?
Yeah, it's weird because I was never really a pressure fighter as an amateur. I was always a counter puncher. Love to check hook, like, you get me? I was always a counter puncher. But then obviously when I went to America, not this year, the year before, that's when I really started to work on me inside game then.
Yeah, it's weird. Like you can do so much in amateur boxing sometimes, and you don't have to do some of these parts. And then it's the smaller gloves. It's a walk
Yeah,
forward. You're going. I don't remember this about boxing. What handbook was that in?
what was it?
I say you're sort of going. I don't remember this about boxing. What
Yeah,
handbook
yeah,
was this
yeah.
in? Because you've been used to being a counter puncher, and now you go. Craig, and now they have to work more and moving forward. You
Yeah.
start having to go. Like you really sometimes question yourself to go, did you really know everything about boxing? Because everything you've done as an amateur, now you probably that experience you've had as an amateur, you
It
have to
matters, but it's not everything. Like,
you have to
you have to
multiply
add
by
to every
10 now.
mix. Yeah. Like, obviously, as an amateur, it's hard to get that one-on-one time with your coaches and stuff like that. 'Cause there's so many is in the club. It was only until I went to America the second time, sorry, when I met my coach Jay, when he was doing the one-on-one work with me, that I realized, right, this is what I need to do to improve. Like, obviously, I can go back to a club and box amateur again, but it's like I'm not improving at the rate I would be if I got one-on-one coaching.
Would you be a fast learner? Like obviously, is it taking a bit of adjustment? Obviously, in the training now as a pro to learn these new things. Like, are you enjoying the process of learning new things? Do you pick it up
Yeah, I
quickly?
love it. I used to get really annoyed that I only knew how to box in the back foot as a kid. And then, yeah, I really wanted to learn the inside game. I started when as well, as we were training through COVID for a few months, sorry, you could say, maybe a year. So I did definitely work on that when I had a bit of time. Because I knew I had to. I knew I wasn't going to be able to survive in senior boxing without an inside game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I had to be able to keep people off me and stuff like that.
It's one of them, isn't it? Like the more you learn, sometimes the more you love it. Like boxing, obviously, is that sport that is the most dangerous sport in the world, but it's the most enjoyable. Sort of that hit and don't get hit sort of nature,
Yeah,
sort of that it has. Like there's probably no better feeling than going, you hit me once, I'm going to hit you twice, but I'm going to hit you harder.
yeah. But there's a lot of different styles in boxing you have to get used to. You have to beat every single style. So that's why, as an amateur, sorry, as a pro, it's great to have that 1 or 2 rounds that not you can take off, but and trying to you can build into the fight, and you're like, right, you kind of get his timing down, and then you can really start to work. Then you get me.
Has it surprised you that you've 2 fights as a pro, you've 2 stoppages as a pro? Like, has it surprised you? Like, did you ever feel like you had that power before they stopped someone? Like, um, or did you always know it was there, but just didn't get a chance with bigger gloves on?
You know what it is, Steve, right? When I was an amateur, I never really had much belief in me. Not in myself and my team, I really had much belief in me. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but my coach in America is constantly always good words, always a positive way of thinking, and it really switched my mind then. So that's probably why I got the 2 knockouts. Because if you would have asked me that before I went pro, I probably wouldn't have guessed that's what way it went. That's the way it would have been going.
It's crazy how someone's different coaching techniques and things like that, or the
Yeah,
different way that they deal with people. Like, we see it so much in sport, with football in particular. Like, you look at managers and they're always a manager quits or gets sacked, a new manager comes in and a totally different style changes things very quickly. The same can be
yeah,
for boxing as well. From one person doing one thing, another person can say it in a different way or doing it a different way, and it just goes. That makes sense. I've never known that before.
yeah, exactly. My my coach today was a professional boxer himself. He was 6-1. He stopped very early. Now I don't know what happened to him when he stopped early, but in America they all train like pros from the age of 7 or 8. Compared to Ireland, where we don't start doing it until we're a pro boxer. So yeah, he definitely has a lot of experience that I wouldn't have had, like small little things in training. Like when we first met each other, he was doing a few footwork drills with me, and he was like, "How have you not learned this back home?" And I'm like, "Only really the pros would learn something like that, I'd say, because no amateurs is doing this."
Mm.
Yeah, it was a weird old change, but it was great. I loved it, and
Um,
I'm still definitely learning it.
Obviously, you've had 2 fights back to back, obviously in quick succession, obviously, and two stoppages they are. When are you hoping to get back out again? I guess you still have that sort of bug. Like, you sort of never really had a chance to sort of celebrate after your pro debut, where you're then preparing for your second pro fight. When are you hoping to get back out again?
Uh, it's one schedule in November on Box Track that I checked, and I found out about that a few days ago. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think there's one more in November or December in America, and then I'll enjoy the Christmas with the family. I've definitely worked hard for it anyway, so
So that'll be 4 fights, probably, what, potentially within your first 3 or 4 months as a pro. Like, that's a fantastic start.
yeah, exactly. That's what you wanted. You started as you mean to go on, Steve. That's
So
what definitely. I said this in other interviews that's on my Instagram page. I said I definitely want to stay busy up until I get to 8, 10, 12 rounds. Then you can start kind of like taking the amount of fights a year down as you do, because obviously the longer fights, you need longer training camps. But while I'm a 4 round fighter, it's very similar to the amateur, so I definitely want to stay as busy as an amateur would.
definitely, like, sometimes you say the best place to learn is in a ring rather than obviously sparring and things like that. You might as well do it
Yeah,
and build your record up rather than doing all these rounds in the gym and going, well, let's just learn from a fight rather than learn
yeah.
from sparring.
You see people saying to get the rounds in. Fuck that shit. If I can get you out there, I'm taking you out. Fuck that. And I'll get paid for overtime.
No, definitely not. Obviously, a vital part, obviously, is of boxing. Obviously, unfortunately, is the cost. Obviously, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Obviously, particularly with you flying, from Dublin to Boston and things like that. Do you have any sponsors involved? Do you want to give a shout out? Do you have space for sponsorship? If anybody would be interested in sponsoring you,
I do have space sponsorship, but I do have a few sponsors that I'd like to thank. The Q Barber Shop in Finglas, the Recovery Room in Blanchardstown, Emily Grace Aesthetics, Midland Meats. There's one more. Oh, you're gonna kill me for forgetting. Oh no, sorry, the ones in America. The ones in America as well. I have on me shorts, Pure Leaf Naturals, and all the construction companies, X Structural. What's that? Coin Roofing.
they
They're in
all
America, so I'm getting sponsorship over in America and I'm getting sponsorship back home.
I guess that obviously fills you with a sense of pride as well, knowing that people
Yeah.
are giving their hard
They're
earned money
backing
to
you.
help you chase your dreams.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I wouldn't be able to do it without them. So that,
I was going to say, without that sponsorship there, it's an impossible dream. You know,
exactly. But
um,
there is room for more if people want to jump in.
every,
Keep,
they are.
jump
But
on.
anybody watching this that obviously wants to get involved, obviously give them a shout on Instagram. But Cian, obviously, thanks for coming on. Obviously, thanks for having
Thanks very
the
much for
first
having me,
chat
Steve.
with
I
us.
appreciate it, mate.
We'll make sure we keep in touch, and obviously
Yeah,
if the fights go on,
100%.
we'll keep doing it, but keep doing these highlight reel knockouts. Obviously, that'll build your attention as well.
What did you
Um,
think of the last one?
I didn't see the last one, but obviously enjoy your sort of time at home before obviously you head back out to Boston. But thanks as always for your time, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you very soon.
Thanks very much, Steve. Have a good day, mate.
You too. Cheers. Take care.
And
Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.